Hi everybody, my name is John of JWH Millinery and welcome back to my channel. So this is another episode in my installment of my award-winning epic series Birthstone Millinery, and for July, so I haven't forgotten you. I know it's coming up to the end of July, but I got in there just in time. So for July it's Ruby and we have this gorgeous headpiece. So I won't whitter on too much. Buntle, we make the feather flowers, we've even got some more sequin film as I've been using in quite a lot of my videos recently, and some Swarovski crystals as well, because it can't be a Birthstone Millinery without some Swarovski crystals. So if you want to see how I made this, let's get started. So to start this gorgeous ruby inspired headpiece, first of all we need to block the buntle mat. This is a 16-inch buntle mat from Hatter's Millinery Supplies in the colour red, and it's priced at $27. This was blocked on the presser part of the block FHBS01 from Hat Blocks Direct. As you can see, I'm using some wool to hold the buntle into place along the groove. Once secured, the wool was wound around the only pin in the block to hold it. I then cut the remaining buntle away so we can work on that while the base is being stiffened, and I went ahead and stiffened the base off camera. Using a steam iron and a towel, I applied steam to the inner edges of the buntle mat. This will help loosen up the straw and make it easier to work with. I turned in the edges on itself and kept pressing with an iron. I then found that the towel held a little bit of heat, so it was easy for me to do more of the folds in one go to avoid like iron burns or anything. This was then sewn down with some millinery wire in the fold. Then I removed the base from its block and folded in the raw edge with some wire and sewed that closed. Now I'm attaching the brim to the base, using a matching thread and hiding the stitches as I go. I get around 2/3 of it done and gather the excess brim together as shown and sewed these together. Now I can carry on and sew the rest of the brim down. To finish the hat construction, I sewed down the end of the brim to the base of the hat. If you are recreating this, I would suggest adding the peachum ribbon in now, as it was a little tricky to do so when I did later on. Now to make the flowers, I'm using Nigori feathers in red, also from Hatter's Millinery Supplies, and these come in a pack of 50 for $8.25. Okay, so I'm not actually sure if I can explain this, but I'll try. So to make the flower, you need to cut out petals from the feathers. And it's up to you how you do so, but I wanted like long, skinny petals. So using long, even cutting strokes to avoid the petals looking even, I just cut the shape out of the feather that I wanted. A good tip is to smooth out the feather first to ensure you've got an even cutting surface. I ended up using around 10 feathers per flower. Next up, cut some strips of sequin film, and I've used this before in the last couple of weeks. So this is an offcut I received in a mystery bag from Peachums and was the perfect colour for the inspiration for this hat. So according to the website, the colour that I am using is the Fire Oil Slick Metallic Film. I cut strips around 3 to 5 millimeters wide, and then these were then sewn together to create the stamen. Positioned a feather onto the stamen and using thread, wrapped this around the feather and the stamen to hold it into place. I repeated this step with all the feathers cut for the flower. To finish off the flower, I used this remnant of Abaca from Be Unique Millinery, and if you are a long time viewer of the channel, you know I used this in a previous video, so I had some left, and I wrapped this around the base to hide the thread wrapping. I did insert some millinery wire in the first couple to help sew it down later, but it really wasn't required, so I wouldn't add any millinery wire. To finish, I sewed the flowers into place and added a couple of Swarovski crystals in a dark red to the base. I don't know the exact colour of this because I just found them in my last stash of beads, but I had them and it was perfect for this hat. And I just wanted to have a little bit of jewel on there because it is a Birthstone Millinery tutorial video, so yeah. And it was at this point I actually added the peachum ribbon, which was fine, but I kept catching the feathers when it was sewing, so if I was to make this again, I would put the ribbon in before adding the feather flowers as mentioned earlier. So like this, one good thing about this is it's kind of sustainable. There's not a lot of waste. Obviously there's waste from cutting the flowers, but the actual using the buntle, there is no waste at all, which I was very proud of. And she looks kind of stunning. Now you probably notice in a lot of my videos, I don't add attachments to the hair. The reason for that is when I go to sell these, I don't know what the customer wants. Do they want a headband? Do they want a comb? I mean, this, you would need to put more than a comb in this. Do they want elastic? It depends on what the customer wants. So I don't necessarily put them in when I make them until I know what the customer wants. So that's why I don't do it, for any of you asking. That none of you asked. So yeah, she's looking beautiful. She's looking stunning. And I'm very pleased on how it turned out. I was a little unsure at first, but I've grown to like this one, so I'm pleased, and this is why I'm putting this video out. I mean, I wouldn't have had any other choice because, you know, but yeah, there you go. July birth babies, this is for you. Now, some of you may have noticed, I'm not too sure, but hopefully you have if you follow me on social media, but I'm looking at setting up a subscription box. So it's very much in the early stages. Don't be expecting it anytime soon, but I would love your help to kind of understand what it is that people want and kind of expect. So there is a link in the description box below which will take you to a Google Forms document. Shouldn't take you long to fill out. If you just, you know, if you've got like a spare 5 minutes, if you could just give me some help just to formulate kind of what it is that people want. Does that match with what I'm trying to do? So there is that as well. Thank you everybody, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. I don't quite know which one I'm putting up for next week. I've got one over there, one over here, kind of half made, and I'm like, which one am I going to put up next week? So, but they're both pink, so I'll leave that. I'll let you have that. They're both pink with a colour. Yeah. Anyway, all my social media is listed in the description box below, as well as links to everything in here. Make sure you drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think of this. And I will see you next week. Bye.